Welcome back to the Fermentation Adventure. In this video, we are going to make easy fermented jalapenos.
We're also going to be making the pickled kind, where we use vinegar instead of going through the whole fermentation process, but we're gonna do a taste test at the end to really kind of compare them. Should be interesting.
Woohoo! Join us on this journey to explore the world of fermentation.
If you'd like to learn how to make ferments like these, start now by clicking subscribe and hitting that bell so you don't miss a thing.
The fermented peppers that we're making today are similar to pickled peppers, but there's a few differences. For one, we don't have to heat anything up. And two, these fermented peppers are so full of probiotics, whereas the pickled peppers are not.
I'm gonna eat the one with probiotics, but hey, we'll do a taste test and see how it goes. Well, let's get to it. We're gonna be making 1 quart of our fermented jalapenos.
We're working with jalapenos today, and I've made this mistake many times, but not today. So first things first, I'm not taking any chances. The capsaicin in these, if you rub your eyes later, will make your eyes burn. So better safe than sorry. These two peppers are actually the same pepper. Did you know that? And since the red ones are picked when they're more ripe, they're actually better for making hot sauce because when you ferment them, they get softer and kind of fall apart a little bit more. And the green ones are not as ripe when they're picked, so whenever you ferment these, they'll tend to stay a little bit crunchier. So they might be good for things like putting on nachos or just putting right on your meal. You could just do a jar of green or a jar of red.
But today, we're just gonna go ahead and ferment both. Thought we were just gonna pickle some green jalapenos, but now that they have the red ones, that's gonna be so pretty in the jar. We're gonna need 6 jalapeno peppers, and that's about 12 ounces.
And you can chop these however you like. Usually we like to chop them into rounds. We also like them spicy. So inside you're going to find the seeds and the pith, which is like the white part. And we like to leave all that inside so it'll be as spicy as possible.
And that's because the capsaicin is sitting right there in that white part. Now we can simply ferment these jalapenos by themselves in the jar, but we add the best flavor when we add a little bit of onion and a little bit of garlic. That's just our favorite.
So for this recipe, we're using 1/4 of an onion, but this isn't an exact science. It's really whatever you like. So if you like more, use more. And we're just gonna slice it so it fits into the jar nicely along with the peppers. Compost. In this recipe, we're using 2 cloves of garlic. And we like to crush them to get all of the flavor out. And the same thing, this isn't an exact science. It's really just what kind of flavor do you like. You can use less or you can use more. We don't want to fill these completely to the top. We want to leave maybe about 1 inch or so of space.
And actually we have one more ingredient for our jar. So what we have left to add is our source of tannins. And for us today, it's gonna be just bay leaves that we picked up at the store. I'm just gonna choose one and add this to the jar. Just like this. Something like that. Well, pretty bay leaf, here you go, squishing you in there. This could also be a leaf from an oak tree. It could be a raspberry leaf and grape leaf, a fig tree leaf. And why are we even doing this? Tannins help keep everything crunchier in the jar.
Okay, now for the exciting part. We need to cover this in a salt brine. When it comes to the salt, we like to use a ratio of 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water. This is not scientific, you don't have to do that. It's really just a taste, but we find that we really like this ratio. And the main reason why we are putting it besides the taste is because the salt actually keeps some of the bad bacteria at bay.
It really can be any kind of salt, but we like to use sea salt since it has additional minerals.
The water that we're using has to be non-chlorinated. So whether you get distilled or filtered water, because chlorine or even chloramine in your tap water will kill the ferment. This is alive, and you want to keep the bacteria in yeast happy and alive.
I mean, we want our probiotics. We don't want to kill them.
We generally find that we only need about 2 cups of this brine when we pack in the veggies. That's just enough to cover it.
And you can see we used almost all of the brine. But it's going to be very important as we ferment this to keep everything under the brine. If not, we could get mold. Hey guys, I'm from the future, and I just wanted to quickly talk about the importance of the weight. We did a test where we fermented a little jar without any weight at all. It's actually calm yeast, a little bit of mold starting, and that's despite using a fermentation lid. But because some of the peppers were kind of coming up to the top, we kind of got some funkiness, and we could scrape it off the top and continue eating it, but I'm probably just gonna toss that small jar and continue with our good one. So best way to do this is to have either a fermentation weight, or you can get creative. You could even put like just a little jar in there of water and have it hold it down. But these fit perfectly in a wide mouth jar, and you just put it on top and gently push down. The water will start to come up. And in this case, it looks like we're going to overflow. So we may have added a little too much water. There it goes.
So the last thing we need is some way to cover this. Now you probably could just get away with keeping the weight on top of it because no air is going to get underneath the brine. But just in case, it's actually a really good idea to put some kind of a cover. We have a few ideas.
One is the silicone lid. You've probably seen this before in our other videos. It has a little hole at the top, but it doesn't allow the oxygen in. And those just screw on with a regular jar lid like that.
Yeah, so airlocks, these are really cool little things. They're used in the beer making process. You plug the top and you fill this with water. You want to fill it right to about there. It doesn't allow any oxygen to get in.
What we ended up doing was just combining our little pour spout top with one of these airlocks because it fits perfectly in there.
This is a very short ferment, so we're gonna follow this over the next few days so you know what to expect when you're fermenting at home.
And I can't wait to try them.
They're gonna be so good.
After 24 hours, there really isn't any visible change at all.
But after 2 full days of fermenting at room temperature, the brine has turned cloudy, which is a great sign that the fermentation process is working. There are also a lot of air pockets being created by the carbon dioxide that is being released. It's not necessary to give it a shake, but we like to because it's just fun to see how many bubbles have been created.
After 3 days, it looks similar to the day before, but with even more pockets of air.
We are back after 3 days of the fermentation process, and I'm excited to see how these taste.
Since these are softer peppers, we don't want them to get too mushy, so now is probably the best time. Now these have been fermenting at room temperature around 74 degrees Fahrenheit. So if your environment is a little warmer, it may go faster. I think it's time to taste these.
But first, we're actually going to test the pH. This is something we've never actually been able to do before because now we have a new gadget.
We're gonna test right now with our pH meter.
So when we're testing the pH, a level of 7 is about what water is. Anything above that would be more of a base. Anything below that is more an acid, and we want acid.
Because anything lower than a 4.6 in pH level means that botulism cannot grow.
So we got a reading of about 3.7, which is pretty cool.
I really like this pH food meter. I think we might end up using it in a lot of our ferments, just to confirm. Although the cool thing about fermentation is that's not usually where the concern for botulism is.
Thankfully, botulism is very rare in fermentation because the process usually creates acidic environments that are not hospitable to the botulism bacteria.
And also we need to take out the weight. I'm just gonna use a spoon and my clean hands to get this weight out of here. I'm using a metal spoon, but it's only for a second. We've never had a problem, and also it's stainless steel. All right, put that to the side. Ooh, the jalapenos and brine look good.
You ready for this? This is gonna be spicy.
I think I'm gonna start with the red one. Oh my gosh. That is so good. It's still pretty spicy.
Whoa. I taste the spiciness right away and quickly followed by the nice vinegar flavor. Man, that is good.
Now green one?
Yeah, here we go. A little crunchier. Yeah, but still that pungent, good flavor though.
It's really got that fermented flavor. And if you guys out there ferment a lot, you know what we're talking about. Goodness. Actually, what was crazy is the red ones were not spicy before we put them in. But when they were fermenting with the green ones, they became really spicy. But we've got more taste tests today. Do we really need to add the onion and garlic?
I'm a big fan of onion and garlic.
But we do have an entire jar that we fermented, just peppers. Just not as flavorful.
It's still pretty good. It tastes the acid. The flavor is definitely with the onion and garlic. That's my vote.
But we have one more taste test today, and it's very important. Made an entire pickled jar right here.
For these pickled jalapenos, we brought equal parts vinegar and water to a boil, plus we added some salt. We poured the vinegar mixture onto our jalapenos. Since these pickled jalapenos don't have living probiotics, it's perfectly fine to use chlorinated tap water. Let it cool and then transfer it to the fridge for a couple of hours.
And just out of curiosity, we'll also take a pH reading of our pickled peppers. pH level of 3.46. They're pretty much the same. Actually, that's kind of cool.
Fermentation versus pickling.
Well, I'm really excited about these pickled jalapenos.
One's lactic acid and one's acetic acid.
The other thing is you can obviously tell that the pickled peppers are not fermented because they're not cloudy at all. The cloudiness is just a very good sign of fermentation. Ready?
Yep. Well, for one, they actually look a lot more crisp. They're not soft.
Really crunchy, even the red ones. But what you do lack is
Probiotics.
Probiotics. It's really just vinegar flavor.
Oh my God.
Like, it just seems like it wouldn't matter what you put in these pickled jars. Any vegetable would probably taste the same.
I mean, they really are completely different flavors.
I really like the fermented ones.
I think I like the flavor better on this. It's a lot deeper.
We hope you try making these fermented jalapenos for yourself.
And we love making these videos for you, so don't forget to subscribe, like, share it with your friends, and happy fermenting.
Hey, what are we gonna ferment next?
Ooh, that's a good question.